It's interesting though, because that article that Bill was talking about, and for those people who are listening to this podcast, I'll link it somewhere in the podcast so that you can find it. But he was talking about how knowledge bases, they were, and they still are very important for Google to gather entity information. So, that would be one of those knowledge bases, right? That, and that's even a part of improving EAT, is just getting listed in places where you would expect a business of your stature or, that type of business to be listed. And then Bill was talking.
Microsoft had bought PowerSet in like 08 or 09. And I remember Google was like, there was a little bit of internal panic about like, hey, what if they get better at instant answer solving than we do? Because Bing's whole branding when they came out was the answer engine. Not a search engine, but an answer engine. Like, you'll just get your instant answer. And I think Google was like, whoop, let's race to get there first.
Well, and Bing's been making really good advances too. I haven't been paying as much attention to Bing, but they've been really making good advances in understanding language, or using those frameworks anyways. It's really fascinating to see. And I think that this is what is the problem for a lot of SEOs, is that for years we've had things that worked. Why did we build links? You said in your article that links are proxies for or for votes, I think you said, right?
Yep.
And that's why we build links. That's why, if I can get you to link to me, then that's you voting for me, saying, yes, I think this article should be read by other people right. as well. And now, if Google's better at understanding language, I think we're going to get to the point. You're right. I don't think we're there yet. I still think that, if I got a followed link from an authoritative place, I would be very happy about that. But I think that the day is coming where we won't necessarily need links for determining whether content is actually worthy of ranking. Yes. I think we can still use it for discovery. Right. But determining relevance and whether this is the best piece of content to show a searcher, I think they're going to eventually stop using links for that, which is scary for SEOs who, a lot of SEOs, that's their only or their main tool in their toolbox. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's frightening.
Well, and so I think it suggests to me a world of the future sometime over the next 5 to 10 years where link focused SEOs will either need to change their practices or they'll largely become dinosaurs. And I think link focused SEOs are very creative, very thoughtful, and generally pretty cutting edge people. So I don't see this happening where they just become relics. I think what'll happen is that they move into realms like digital PR. How do I get my client to be mentioned on this podcast, to be talked about in the news, to be referenced by these websites, to be talked about on social media in all its forms, to be featured in a YouTube video on a popular channel, to whatever it is, right? Like all those different aspects that indicate relevancy, connection with keywords and searches and entities and topics that indicate trustworthiness, that indicate quality. Those will be the jobs of people who previously focused on how do I get a link from A to B.
Yes.